drug which we think that it is causing the ADR?
Yes, very good. The drug which is suspected product is nothing but a drug which is responsible for causing side effects.
Like induced pregnancy patients.
Yes.
It may cause like irregular, limbs and the hands.
Yes. That is suspected product is nothing but a from the drug like which we experience side effects. Example for adverse reaction is a patient takes a example for adverse reaction. A patient takes a new medicine and experiences any kind of side effects you can give. Nausea, vomiting, dizziness. It's done. Here, even say same like adverse reaction only, but here any untoward medical occurrence that may present during treatment. It may present when treatment is going, that time it was there with pharmaceutical products, but it doesn't have any kind of relationship with the treatment. It doesn't have any causal relationship with the treatment. That is adverse event. The drug is not responsible for the side effects in adverse event. For adverse drug reaction, the drug is clearly we state it is responsible for side effects. Here we doesn't have any kind of causal relationship. The causality will be not there with the treatment. This is the standard definition for adverse event. If anyone asks what do you mean by adverse event, this you have to please write down. These are the important glossary definitions. If you know the terms, rest all it will be very easy, like all easy topics. Done? Online students, see those who joined lately, it's done?
Yes.
Okay. Is it clear what is the difference between adverse reaction and adverse event? Please don't get confused, okay? And amendment. Amendment is nothing but any change in document or it report any clinical it reports any clinical trial study. If you see any kind of change in document, we will say amendment. Definition same thing, please note down. Any change in document or report or any trial study, clinical trial study. I'll inform Manish sir, he will upload it, LMS. Then applicable regulatory requirements. Generally, what do you mean by regulatory? The word regulatory, what do you mean by regulatory? Regulatory affairs. Have you heard about the word regulatory affairs? Yeah, what actually? Yeah, main thing is that rules, different guidelines will be there. The rules and regulations. Regulatory means that is like here for this also clinical research there will be applicable regulatory requirements. This is the definition. Regulatory compliance describes the goal that organization aspire to achieve in their efforts to ensure that they are aware of and take steps to comply with relevant laws. It includes relevant, which are the related, like relevant laws, policies and regulation. Main thing, what actually regulatory requirement it includes are the relevant laws, policies and regulations. Yeah. Example for this, FDA regulations, US FDA or CDSCO. What do you mean by CDSCO?
Central Drug Standard Control Organization.
Yeah. From which country?
For India.
Yes, very good. Done. The next term is approval. This is very basic. What do you mean by approval? Don't see the slide. Generally tell what do you mean by approval. The word approval means acceptance, permission. To conduct a clinical trials, we need to get permission. This is general. Here definition, the standard definition is, it is a written consent by a regulatory body to proceed with the requested activity, and the approval may take the form of certification. It is in the form of like certification, licensing or registration, and is sometimes used as an alternative term for authorization. This is very important. We have to get approval from higher authority to conduct a clinical trial. Yeah. If someone asks like what is approval means, don't tell like permission or not. Like tell the standard definition, you have to buy it. You have to give the standard definition. That's why we are providing this one. Example for approval, write down. Written consent by a regulatory body to proceed with the requested activity. It may take the form of certification, licensing or registration, and is sometimes used as an alternative term for authorization. These definitions, all of you please by head. Example for approval is FDA. FDA approves a new study on a cancer treatment. FDA approves a new study on cancer treatment. And what is audit? What do you mean by audit? In schools, colleges, we'll know like what do you mean by audit? Inspection, you know? Yes, checking. Yes, very good.
We'll be doing like checking method to assess whether the set standards of the certain colleges are meeting or not.
Yes, very good. Same in clinical research also. Audit are performed to ascertain the validity and the reliability of information, also to provide an assessment of system, internal control. The goal of the audit is to express an opinion of the person or organization or system. Please write down this one. In audit, they will check everything, all related documents which are required for clinical trials, any kind of study. In audit, they will check all documents, the auditor, very thoroughly. So, audit plays a very important key role in clinical research. Audit. What actually it conducts, what actually it includes, everything will check in audit. Audit are performed to ascertain the validity and reliability of information, also to provide an assessment of system internal control. The main goal of audit is to express an opinion of the person or organization or system. Online students, am I audible?
Yes.
Example for audit is, an auditor checks study records for errors. An auditor checks study records for errors. ERRORS, errors. An audit certificate is a term which is used in the context of clinical trials for a document which certifies that an audit has taken place. That's it, audit certificate. And audit report, document prepared by the auditors appointed to examine and certify the accounting records and financial position of a firm. Please write down this one, audit certificate and audit report. These are the standard definitions. A term used in the context of clinical trials for a document which certifies that an audit has taken place, and for audit report, document prepared by the auditors. This document is prepared by the auditors appointed to examine and certify the accounting records and financial position of a firm. Don't write everything, just key points, very important. Anyways, we'll provide the materials. What is audit trial? Again, this is a paper or electronic trial that gives a step-by-step documented history of transaction, and what exactly it includes is, example for audit trial is like invoice, bill, and receipt and voucher. Write down paper or electronic trial that gives a step-by-step documented history of a transaction. And example, invoice, receipt. These are the very basic glossary terms, like you should know like each and everything. If you know the terms, it will be very easy to conduct clinical trials. When you started working in clinical research, these terms you should know very thoroughly. What is inspection, what is investigator, what is audit, what is clinical research coordinator, what is blinding. These are the basic terms, and definitions also you have to buy it. And you have to understand like what exactly it is. It's done. Online students, it's done.
Yes, please.
Okay. Guys, please little fast. And what do you mean by blinding or masking? Many times interviewer asks this question. This is the most repeated question. What do you mean by blinding? Or like other name for blinding is masking. Here, blinding or masking, the process of keeping the study group assignment hidden after allocation is commonly used to reduce the risk of bias in clinical trials with 2 or more study groups. Like here, the information is hidden, it is not like open. Blinding is nothing but like it is a process of hiding the details. Here the subject they doesn't know like which treatment they are going to do. They hide the details. For this we will say blinding or masking. And definition, please write down this only. Blinding or masking, it is a process of keeping the study group assignment hidden after allocation, and it is commonly used to reduce the risk of bias in clinical trials. In this study, actually, the patients and researchers, like they doesn't know like who receives the real treatment, who is going to take the real treatment. The healthcare professionals, they doesn't know like everything. They will hide the details when they are conducting this study. Blinding or masking, short form like the process of hiding the details. Example for blinding is patients and researchers don't know who receives the real treatment. Patients and writer. Write down this definition. Blinding or, but whenever they ask, like you have to give standard definition. Blinding or masking, the process of keeping the study group assignment hidden after allocation, and it is commonly used to reduce the risk of bias in clinical trials with 2 or more study groups. Example for blinding is here researchers that doesn't know who is taking the real treatment. Here everyone is from health science background only, like life science.
Ma'am, if researchers doesn't know who is taking that drug or that treatment, how they will get to know that it is effective or not effective?
No, they will just the details, everything about the clinical trials they will hide. They will not inform like who is taking about the patient details. They will not know. When they are conducting the study, here like patient and researchers don't know who receives the real treatment. see, they might, like in masking, especially like we hide the details, then we'll see that like results. For this process only we'll say blinding. It's done. Next, like CRF. What do you mean by case? Generally, what do you mean by patient case? Yes. What actually it includes case, patient case? Is the need, yes,
gender, age, and
height, weight, yeah. Then present history, then family history, past history. Then what is the exact treatment, if any drug interaction is there. This and all we will see in patient case. Same like here, case report form. What do you mean by case report form? It is a document which is used to collect all study details. This is the standard definition. Official clinical data recording documents. Like in case report form, we collect all the related documents which are responsible for clinical study. This is case report form. And in clinical trial or study, the trials to evaluate the effectiveness and safety of medications or medical devices by monitoring their effects on large groups of people. Guys, please write down this one. Clinical trial or study. These are the trials to evaluate the effectiveness and safety of medications. Or medical devices by monitoring their effects on large groups of people. Example for case report form, researchers, they use a case report form to record patient symptoms. Researchers use a case report form. Example for case report form, researchers use a case report form to record patient symptoms. Patient's symptoms. And the clinical study, clinical trial means this is the standard definition. And what do you mean by study report? In the name only we can make out. The report having systematic, articulate and orderly presentation of research work in a written form. Everything should be in a written form or document form that contain basic aspects of the research project or trials. This is called study report. What actually study reports it includes? Like related documents that contains basic aspects of the research project or clinical trials. These glossaries, please every day keep practicing it before going to finish this class. Like you have to know, like I mean this 1 month course, no? 6 months. 6 months, okay. It's done? Few words are like before only you know, but there are like new words also, these new terms also. This you should know. What do you mean by comparator? It is a treatment, write down my definition, a treatment used for used for comparison in a study. Example for this comparator, a new study, a new treatment or new study, new treatment is compared to an existing one. Suppose like same study we are going to conduct, like they will compare by using this comparator device. They will compare with the existing one and present one. That's it. A device for comparing something measurable with the reference or standard. And what do you mean by compliance? In short and like very sweet way, compliance means rules and regulations. Compliance means rules and regulation. The standard definition, what is like rules and regulations for clinical trials, okay? In compliance means, but here the standard definition is certification or confirmation that the doer of an action, such as the writer of an audit report or the manufacturer or supplier of a product, meets the requirements of accepted practices, legislation, prescribed rules and regulation, specified standards or the terms of a contract. For understanding, I said rules and regulation. What actually it includes? Main rules, requirements of accepted practices, legislation, prescribed rules and regulations, specified standards or the terms of a contract. These standard definitions you have to know other options, but finally you can't miss, you can tell rules and regulations, but management try to validate it because you have to use the vocabulary and the terms what we provide, that is like standard definitions. To make you in simple terms, I am explaining you in very simple way. Example for compliance. It's done. Definition has. In between, I keep asking these definitions. Please keep practicing every day. At least when you come to class, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Example for compliance. Researchers comply with FDA regulations. Researchers comply, C-O-M-P-L-Y, comply with FDA regulations. And everyone knows confidentiality, confidential. Whenever we are conducting any kind of study, we have to maintain certain confidential agreements. It should be very private. We should not disclose the information. It should be very confidential. For that, we will say confidentiality. The standard definition is information that is confidential is meant to be kept secret or private. We have to maintain. Example for this, any agreements, confidential agreements related to study.
Ma'am, difference between blinding and confidentiality.
See, that blinding or masking is the process of clinical trials. This is confidentiality, whole study. If you are working for one CRO, you have to maintain their like everything private, like confidentiality. There, like researchers will not know the study. This is like about organization. and mainly where we conduct clinical trials. I said this, yes. Hospitals, clinics, labs, yeah, very good. When we are doing clinical trials, we'll share like all the details to everyone? No, yeah. Likewise, same in each organization, in CROs, we have to maintain that confidentiality. And what do you mean by contract? Contract, in short way, it is an agreement, a formal agreement between two parties. But here the definition is a voluntary, deliberate and legally binding agreement between two or more competent parties. You can write like this much, this is enough. A voluntary, deliberate and legally binding agreement between two parties. Contracts are usually written but may be spoken it's orally and may be spoken or implied and generally have to do with employment, sale or lease or tenancy. And a contractual relationship is evidenced by offer, acceptance of the offer and valid consideration. Please write down, it is a voluntary, deliberate and legally binding agreement between two or more competent parties. Agreement between two parties. Just remember, contract means it is an agreement between two parties. Example for contract: a sponsor contracts a research institution. Sponsor contracts a research institution. It is a very simple glossary, you can go through it. Just I'll read it out. Coordinating committees, it is organized to conduct the multi-centric trial. And what do you mean by coordinating investigator? Investigator who assign the coordinator at different center for multiple trials. And what is CRO? Right, contract research, like so many CROs are there, which will work along with core pharma industry, pharmaceutical companies. That we will say CRO, contract research organization. Like here in Bangalore, like we'll see multiple CROs. And in Hyderabad, if you go to Hyderabad, there are certain manufactured pharmaceutical companies only we'll see. And there is difference between CRO and manufactured pharmaceutical companies. Write down, coordinating committee means organized to conduct the multicentric trial. Example for coordinating committee: a committee coordinates data collection. A committee coordinates data collection. A committee coordinates data collection across sites. Here example for coordinating investigator is, he coordinates and investigator coordinates research across multi-speciality hospital, many hospitals, across multiple hospitals, right? An investigator coordinates, coordinates research across, he coordinates research across many hospitals, many or multiple hospitals. We'll upload this material in LMS. Please go through it. Whenever, like, if you have any kind of questions, please come and meet me. Like, after the class also I'll be available. And like you can. And contract research organization. It is a service organization which provides support to the pharmaceutical industry. Like in Bangalore, many CROs there, like which provide support to the pharmaceutical industry.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Actually, there is a problem in LMS, I think so. When we were opening the link, it was saying it was not yet started. But after 10 minutes, we are rejoining, means it is that is going.
Okay. I will talk to them. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we are getting late.
Okay. We'll clear it. And what do you mean by direct access? Means that access like permission to examine, verify and reproduce any records and reports that are important to evaluate of clinical trial. We should get access to know each and everything about the trial. Direct access, permission to examine or verify and reproduce any records and reports that are important to evaluate of clinical trial. Only these auditors have direct access to study records. For example, for direct access is auditors. Auditors have direct access to study records. Enough, guys. Till direct access is enough. From documentation we'll discuss tomorrow. And please go through these definitions once and understand. If you have any doubts, please come and meet me like tomorrow. We'll discuss about this. And please everyone come little early, like sharp 10 o'clock class is going to start. Both online and offline students. Okay guys, thank you. You can leave the session. Thank you. Tell that LMS issues, talk to myself.
Ma'am, internet पे issue तो नहीं था आज कोई? Internet issue कुछ?
No, only 2 minutes again it was okay. And Manish, they want material and they are telling
Already uploaded material, just now I uploaded.
just and LMS issues, ma'am, class we are unable to find the link. They are telling. Morning they said.
Morning तो हो गया,
Yeah.
सुना था सर.
That's it, everything is okay. Can we discuss tomorrow? Example, sir? Same example. Complete learning.
Hello. ಇದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ ಕೇಳ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ನನಗೆ ಪೇಜ್ ಬಂದ She'll just see the phone and she'll just like front sheet. She'll see my animation.
Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You said that the topic clear.
The class is curriculum. Environmental criteria.
So hello everyone. So what's going on? Did you apply anywhere? Like, did you get any call from any company? You started applying or not yet? Not yet, huh? You planning after completion of this program, this certification.
They said after 65% of the course there
But anyhow, you can directly apply, no?
in the document.
Yeah, at least you know just start creating your resume. That should be ATS, applicant tracking system resume. Because nowadays what is happening, like HR, what HRs they're doing, they are not finding. So they have one system that we call as applicant tracking system. Yes, please. So they filter out, different, like out of 1,000, so they filter, so see they have their keywords, like what they are looking for. So if something is matching with those keywords from all the resumes, which is, like uploaded on different LinkedIn, Naukri.com, Indeed, different applications. Okay, why I'm saying ATS, because ATS, so those keywords, if your resume will not be ATS resume, then what will happen, your resume will not match with their keywords. You will not get any, response from, any, organization. First of all, your resume should be very simple. It should not be very decorated like your picture and all that. Don't do that. But write one good ATS ready. Now you can also like take help of some websites. There you have to just provide your details and they will provide you ATS 100% ATS resume. They will provide.
You guys can use ChatGPT as well.
ChatGPT also can. Okay, and
1 hour हो गया